Hello, all you awesome people out there. Welcome and welcome back to Geek Vids Entertainment, the place dedicated to the big three of visual media. Of course, that being film, video games, and television. I'm your host, as always, Hoover, and we got a very special episode lined up for y'all here today because it's something I promised quite some time ago. But back when I first developed the concept for this video, a friend of mine had asked me they asked me what my favorite anime is, right? So I'm terrible at kind of being asked things like that on the spot. I didn't immediately say like One Piece, but that did like make me think. So like, do I say like a classic choice, like Cowboy Bebop, which is the answer I did end up giving him at the time, or do I give like a basic bitch but solid pick, something like Naruto, or do I try to, try to be special, try to go with more like of a hipster pick, something like something kind of unknown like S. Cryad. But the question really did make me think, and after a very long period of thought, I came up with the subject of this video, though, and that is Digimon. Now, I remember me and my cousin waking up early Saturday morning at my house for the premiere episode of the series. So that was like a big thing, big moment for me. I had the VHS of the Myotis Monarch, and I even had the Digimon movie as well. I was big into Digimon. Probably the only thing that was more popular for me as a kid was probably Power Rangers. But unfortunately, I felt like Digimon, especially Digimon Adventure, hasn't had like the same staying power a lot of the anime from that time, that late 90s, early 2000s time period. It hasn't had the staying power around some series around that time, like the goated series like Sailor Moon and DBZ, Yu Yu Hakusho, or even kind of in that pre streaming and non-adult swim animes. So I asked myself the question like, why didn't it? And why I decide to, go to bat for it. What I'm going to do in this video here. So we're going to go into all of that, which this video is also going to act as my contribution to the 25th anniversary of the show, which is going on this year. So, hopefully we can get this video up in a timely manner that it actually releases on the day of the anniversary. Digimon, if you didn't know, is a media franchise that actually started out as a virtual pet toy, acting as an alternative to Tamagotchi and geared more towards boys. The design of the monsters were further developed by being inspired by American comics, again, in a focused effort to target more young boys at the time. So the success of the virtual pet toys then led to a full-on 3D video game titled Digital World, and that was released on January 28th of 1999. And literally, simply just 2 months following the release of the video game, on March 6th, the animated film Digimon Adventure was released in theaters, and that was then soon followed up by the series on the very next day, on March 7th, all in Japan, by the way. Which, by the way, I didn't know. I didn't know that all came in such a quick succession. Like just months after the game came out, then you got the movie, and after the movie came out, the TV show started the day after. The American version of the Digimon movie was actually just 3 films stringed into one. One of them was the Digimon Adventure feature film that sort of acts as a prequel and setup for Digimon Adventure series. But yeah, the Americanized movies was just 3 separate movies they put into one and edited in that way, which was again news to me, but it does make sense. Speaking of the movie, y'all remember that terrible ass Angela Anaconda intro that they rolled before the movie?
Angela Anaconda, Digivolve to Angelamon! Well, look who's here. Ninimon and her Breezy Monster robot come to block our view of the entire world. Prepare for battle, you pathetic Pukemons! But first, let's make some concessions. After all, refills are free, right, Kinemon? Help me, oh Angelamon, more powerful Digimon than I! You you will cry. Don't worry, Ninny Winnie Mon. My pal Johnny Mon is here to give you a kickstart. And now get ready for my ultimate anti-Ninny-Mon super secret power.
Excusez moi, but if you common line waiters can't adhere to proper theater etiquette, then I'll be forced to summon an usher.
Oh, Guinevere, je t'aime depuis le premier jour. I've loved you since the first day.
Hey, this isn't Digimon. This is some boring, phony, fake French film.
But that means
We're in the wrong theater. I call dibs on the best seats.
Like, what the fuck was that anyway? All right, moving on. Now, the Digimon anime has actually spanned 9 seasons over the course of the last 20 years, with a 10th on the horizon, entitled Digimon Beat Break, which is scheduled to air in Japan in October. But for the sake of our video here, we'll mostly focus on the first season of Digimon Adventure. The 99 version, that is. There is a reboot slash remake of the series that aired in 2020. We will mention the other 4 seasons, the other first 4 seasons, but our focus is primarily going to be on Digimon Adventure. So speaking of Digimon Adventure, let's kind of start things off here. So Digimon Adventure tells the story of 7 young kids who go to camp for the summer and wind up living in a digital land where everybody got to meet their own Digimonster, a digital companion, and digital friend. Sorry. I got swept up in the theme song there. It's a very catchy theme song though. So these 7 kids, they go on a camping trip and find themselves transported to the digital world, a land filled with digital monsters. They all meet their own Digimon partners and are meant to save the digital world. You know, and now that I kind of say it out loud, that theme song actually does run down, right? The theme song actually does explain everything you need to know right there, plain and simple. All right, so the kids have these devices that allow their Digimon to digivolve, entitled Digivices, and they digivolve into stronger, larger forms of themselves. So let's get a quick overview of our 7 main characters here. All right, first off, you got Tai. He's the de facto leader, the hothead, impulsive, and quick to rush in. He holds the crest of courage, and his partner is Agumon. Then you have Matt, the laid-back loner, and TK's older brother, the cool-headed, as opposed to Tai's more hot-headed version. He holds the crest of friendship, and his partner is Gabumon. They have Sora, the big sister of the group and the voice of reason, also the resident tomboy. She holds the crest of love, and her partner is Biomon. Izzy is the smartest and the most inquisitive. He's interested in finding the answers in the lore of the digital world, and also the second youngest on the team. He holds the crest of knowledge, and his partner is Tentomon. They have Joe, the oldest, but the most cautious and frightful of the group, but always puts others before himself. He holds the crest of reliability, and his partner is Gomamon. Then you have Mimi, pampered but very straightforward and also slightly misunderstood. She holds the crest of sincerity, and her partner is Palmon. And finally, you got TK, the youngest of the group and Matt's little brother. He holds the crest of hope, and his partner is Patamon. So the series of Digimon Adventure is split into 4 arcs, all headed up by a big bad Digimon that the kids have to defeat at the end of said arc. The first arc primarily involves the kids trying to find their way home. Each gets an episode dedicated to them so we can get to know who they are, and sees their partner Digimon digivolve into the champion level. We find out that Digimon are going evil due to these black gears made by the Digimon named Devimon, who, after being split up, the kids regroup to defeat, thanks to a timely Digivolution from Patamon. By the way, this will happen again. Also, they're my cousin's favorite character, favorite Digimon, the one I watched the show with when it first came out. So I'm going to give Angemon some little flowers, a little attention here right now. So that one's for you. The second arc dives a little bit more into the lore of the digital world. The kids find out they are what's called the Digi-Destined. Terrible name aside, they are humans picked to defend the digital world. They travel across the digital world in search of items called tags and crests that would allow their Digimon to achieve the even higher ultimate level. The evil Edamon attempts to stop them, but they defeat him when we get our first ultimate Digivolution. By the way, the ultimate Digivolution animation is so cool when like the Digivices kind of like rumble and like they change color and then the light shoots through into the crest. I love that ultimate evolution animation. Now the third arc is where things really get going for me. When new villain Myotismon finds a way into the real world, the Digidestined follow him and end up returning home. The Digidestined's partner also the rest of them achieve their ultimate Digivolution, and it comes at the right time as Myotismon is leading a siege of their hometown in search of, shockingly, the eighth Digidestined child and their partner. So it turns out that there were supposed to be eight Digidestined, but one didn't make it to camp, and by virtue, of course, the digital world. So it turns out that this eighth child is actually Ty's younger sister Kari, and her partner is Gatomon, who's actually one of Myotismon's leading lieutenants. The two unite and Digivolve, defeating Myotismon. I do have to mention Wizardsmon's sacrifice here around the end of this arc. That was legitimately like the first gut punch of the series and a very infamous moment in the show. But Myotismon does not stay gone for long, as his defeat leads to his return as a mega level Digimon, Venom Myotismon. Izzy is able to translate an ancient digital world text, showing how they can reach Mega Digivolution as well. Matt and Ty are able to achieve Warp Digivolution, allowing Agumon and Gabumon to jump straight from Rookie to their Mega level forms of War Greymon and Metal Garurumon. But just them. Nobody else. Y'all gotta wait till try for that. So they actually defeat Venom Myotismon for good this time with the combined efforts of all the Digimon, and even the kids helped with an assist or two. In the final arc, the Digidestined find out that time moves faster in the digital world, and a new evil has taken over, the Dark Masters. Four mega level Digimon who have each taken a piece of the digital world for themselves. This arc gets a little more personal and more character driven, and of course we see the kids split up yet again, but still made it to defeat three of the four Dark Masters, leaving the most powerful one, Piedmon, as the final one. They have to reunite yet again and beat him once again, with a timely Digivolution from Patamon as he achieves his ultimate Digivolution of Magna Angemon. There it is yet again. But of course, we ain't done, as a new enemy arrives named Apocalypse, revealing himself to be the leader of the Dark Masters. He destroys the crests and deletes the Digidestined and their Digimon partners, which is, is basically like killing them in the digital world. But of course, this is anime. Through the power of belief and friendship, overcomes all, allows them to reformat themselves, and turns out that they don't need no stinking crest to digivolve. They are able to achieve their ultimate and mega digivolutions, and they beat him and save the digital world once and for all. Though unfortunately, sad times still happen, as they found out that the only window to the real world is about to close, and when it closes, it's going to close just about forever. So after some heartfelt goodbyes, the Digidestined return home, and I can't lie, some of those goodbyes are some real tear jerking moments in there. And that was it for the Digimon Adventure anime. Like I mentioned, we're going to talk about a few things after that because the kids do pop up a few more times in future seasons. Because the story didn't end there. In the second season, featured a brand new cast of Digidestined. We had our original kids return as the older, now in middle school, experienced Digidestined to act more as mentors to these new kids. TK and Kari actually fully joined the new kids as they're closer in age to the new kids as they were the two youngest of the original cast. Now the end of the second season had an epilogue that first showed the Digidestined grown up and what happened to them in adulthood. But this has been retconned. Like some choices were very weird. That's why they decided to change some things up. Like Matt spent the whole season in a rock band, performing shows and shit. But then it shows when he's an adult, he becomes an astronaut. Like, Like what? So, years later, we got Digimon Try, which sees the eight original returning, now in high school, trying to solve a mystery of infected Digimon crossing over into the real world. Now, you all may achieve mega level Digivolutions. Good job, guys. And then we have Last Evolution, which sees the now entering adulthood Digidestined reuniting with their Digimon partners for seemingly the final time. But then there's also Digimon Adventure 02, The Beginning, where the first Digidestined is revealed. Now, this one is more focused as sort of a, a reunion for the O2 kids, but of course, it also involves TK and Kari. But we thought that was the final, but we also got the newly announced Digimon Adventure Beyond, which is going to act as the 25th anniversary movie. But that one's going to take place between Try and Last Evolution. So Last Evolution is still going to be like the final chapter for the adventure story. All right, so now that we got the overview of the anime, let me tell you why I very much enjoy this anime so much. Um, I mentioned in the third act how things really got going for me. Well, that's because when the Digidestin returned home, we got to see a lot more about each kid as a character. Now, I mentioned it earlier, but my biggest obsession when I was a kid was indeed Power Rangers. And Power Rangers was great, but none of the main cast and none of the characters actually had character. You know what I mean? They had traits. They fit into an overall caricature of a character. You know, you had Jason, the Red Ranger. He's a leader. You had Kimberly, who's the Valley Girl. She's the popular girl. You know, Tommy was the Sixth Ranger, the Green Ranger. He was more of like the loner. Um, but nothing to show how or why they became who they are, or even how being a ranger was really like affecting them. I mean, they were high school students moonlighting as child soldiers and still somehow managed to maintain perfect grades and spend what little free time they had volunteering every damn day. Like, that shit's got to have some psychological side effects to it. But Digimon was different in that way. We were able to see why all of them were the way they were. So let's take Joe, for example. Joe, for instance, we see that his older brother is studying to become a doctor, following in the footsteps of his father, both of their fathers. Hence why Joe also wants to become one, and why there's so much weight on his shoulders to basically continue the family tradition of going into medicine and being a doctor. Or Mimi, coming from a very well off family and also being an only child, plays a huge role into the way she is, into why she is what she is. She's pampered and she's always gotten her way. She's always received a tremendous amount of attention and never really had to struggle for much, or even being on bad terms with her parents, which is why she kind of behaves when they get into the digital world. She behaves the way she behaves. It's like the first time she's really on her own and having to fend and survive for herself. And in some cases, these situations are used to create drama for the characters or explain some of their shortcomings. Matt and TK, we see that their parents are actually divorced and they live separately. Matt lives with his father, TK with the mother, so they don't see each other very often. Which is why Matt feels such a responsibility for him when they're in the digital world. He has to keep an eye on him and keep him after him. He has to make sure he doesn't get hurt. Typical big brother shit, but kind of amplified with the fact that the parents aren't together. Izzy also discovers that he's actually adopted, and when he finds that out, he begins to distance himself from his foster parents. Sora and her mother have a very rocky relationship, as Sora's mother wants Sora to be more feminine, as opposed to the tomboy that she is. So these windows into each of their lives, outside and before the digital world, was a great window into the characters for me. And the final arc, how everyone had these internal issues they also had to work out. Matt was beginning to have issues with TK and Ty, which was not the first time. But seeing TK kind of gravitate more to Ty, and noticing he's more capable of taking care of himself, Mimi begins to become honestly just heartbroken, after seeing so many of the Digimon they befriended die. And yeah, I guess I should mention, yeah, Digimon die in this show. They don't fully die. They do get they go through like a rebirth process, but they don't come back as the same person they were before. Joe is constantly looking to prove himself, seeing that he wasn't being able to sort of carry his own weight like the rest of the boys in the group, especially that were younger than him. Sora finds herself repeatedly being targeted by a darkness that amplifies the doubt and depression within her. Like it wasn't something I was personally used to seeing in like a kid show at that age. And for an anime geared towards kids to really kind of deal with this stuff, these personal shortcomings and these bouts of depression and grief, it was like an amazing thing for my little child brain to like see and witness for the first time. Now, for as good as a lot of Digimon is, I do have to be honest, there is some bad to it as well. And a lot of it really had to do with just the times in which it came out. Digimon aired at a time where anime was heavily edited to more appeal to the Western audience. So there are some dialogue choices that are weird, and they can make some situations feel less important and less dramatic because they just gotta throw some kind of bad joke in there because you can't have shit be too fucking serious. You know what I mean?
Do you think it's fair that I should have to live with all this agony? Why should you get to laugh when I am forced to cry? Why do you get to taste the best life has to offer while all I do is choke on its leftovers? Answer me this! Why do all of you get the pizza while I get the crust?
Oh, I can't take all these metaphors!
Like we got the kids dealing with bouts of grief and depression, but you gotta liven it up. You gotta liven it up with a good joke every now and then. And I use good very, very loosely. It also didn't have a lot of original music as well. There were only like 3 insert themes that they use, and they use these themes every time, so they can get played out pretty quick.
And your little doggy don't frighten me. Nightmare syndrome! Meteor wing!
Hey, Digimon, let's go!
Or Greymon!
Pass me the ball!
And the animation was never a strong suit either. The action wasn't that engaging, and a lot of times you can see just like the lack of budget or reused clips or just like literally just the bare minimum of animation. Also, I gotta say the random appearance of a Pokemon at the very end was very unneeded. There was like no build or any real mention or tease of him beforehand, and he was very underwhelming with some of the worst dialogue in the show. So for him to be the actual true final villain, besides Piedmon, who they actually did a phenomenal job sort of like building him up, that was disappointing. And again, for as much as I like Digimon, and it indeed does have a fandom to it, it's been going for 20 years, for God's sakes. The anime isn't as well remembered or held in high regard as some of the others are, like I mentioned earlier. And I got 3 reasons as to why that may be. First was integration outside of the anime. So just like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon actually did have a card game around it, and it also had a lot of video games. But unfortunately, the card game never really took over here in the States, and the video games also never really set the fandom ablaze over here either. Second, I feel like it was because it was targeting a younger audience than some of the others may have. I mentioned how when more serious things are happening, there are some things that are said to sort of make it less so. To liven up things and not have to be so serious. The whole final arc when they face a Pokemon is all just bad jokes, even though he was supposed to be like the final boss and just the embodiment of just hatred and despair.
I will rule the world and plunge it into darkness so that I don't have to be alone anymore in my misery. Wait a minute, what am I laughing at? I'm supposed to be depressed.
Because of that, I feel like once the audience grew up, there weren't a lot of interests to come back. But of course, the biggest reason Digimon didn't succeed here in the States is because of competition. And its major competitor is one of the most recognized franchises, not just in the US and Japan, but in the world.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was.
To train them is my cause.
Pokemon. It's Pokemon. Now I don't need to tell you what Pokemon is, I'm sure. But the similarities are obvious. Young children with monster companions that fight against other monsters. The monsters can evolve, becoming bigger, stronger, cooler versions of themselves. This also may play a role in the fact that Digimon's card and video games never really took off here in the States, because in that vein, most kids were into Pokemon games and were collecting Pokemon cards. Along with Yu-Gi-Oh, especially when you're in the card game element, was the central point of the series. That didn't leave Digimon a lot of room to penetrate that market, I feel. But yes, the pop culture behemoth that Pokemon became casted a large shadow that Digimon always kind of struggled to get out of. So, with all of this, I have to say, still, Digimon holds a special place in my heart. I stayed on for the 3 seasons that followed, but following that, I think following Digimon Frontier, the 4th season, there were some TV airing issues, so I fell out of it after that. It tried to make a comeback on Nickelodeon in 2012 with Digimon Fusion, after I think the one before that, which was Data Squad. Also was on Disney, but it was on Jetix, and your boy did not have cable at that time. But yeah, it tried to make a comeback in 2012 on Nickelodeon with Digimon Fusion, but it was a flop. It failed. It does seem clear though that there is a fairly large fan base in Japan, as like I mentioned, the series had 3 additional films and a reboot series as well. So I figure they have some demand to keep the making them. Like I mentioned, shit, we got a brand new series coming in 2020. Though I feel like this one and the previous season that never really came over here to the States, what the fuck is it called? Ghost Story and Beat Break seem to be kind of trying to differentiate themselves from the common Digimon tropes. And thankfully, they do make it over here to the States, so the fans aren't forgetting about them. Like we got Digimon Try. I think O2 has an English. The O2 movie has a English dub as well, so it does come over here every now and then. So it's not completely forgotten about over here. Um, and with all of that, I still even find myself going back. I went to know I want to know how the kids are as they grow up. I love it when they reunite with their Digimon partners. I rewatched the series and the first 3 seasons. Also, little side note, I remember not liking season 3, but loving season 4 as a kid. I looked and the reception has actually was swapped amongst the fandom. Everybody loves 3, but everybody really dislikes 4. So I rewatched them again, and yeah, I understand. I was completely wrong about Savers. Like literally everything I mentioned that I like about Adventure, the fact that it's more character driven, it takes things a lot more serious. It's not afraid to get a little bit more darker. It has a lot more emotional weight to it. All that shit is amplified by 10 in season 3, Digimon Tamers. Sometimes maybe a little bit too, sometimes a little bit too much, but but it's really good. And yeah, at Frontier season 4, I understand it now. I still like it, but I get it. It is a very slow, sometimes even plodding, kind of it's a trench to get through sometimes. I still kind of like it, but I get it now. And even though its biggest competitor may be the reason it hasn't been able to gain a strong foothold here in the States, I think that also forced the creators to give it some of its greatest traits. Pokemon not following a concrete story, then they go, okay, then we'll give ours one. Oh, Pokemon doesn't typically focus on characters and character development. All right, well then we will. We got limitations because of our animation budget. Then we'll focus on memorable characters and memorable villains. And they were, and it was for great moments and made for great storytelling. I think Digimon was like my gateway anime, if you will. Like I don't know if I would have gotten into like Inuyasha, staying up those late nights to watch Adult Swim and stay up late for like Inuyasha and Cowboy Bebop on Adult Swim on those late nights. And probably wouldn't have kept me open to be more mindful of anime in the future. So with that, I have to say, in this long-winded, roundabout ass way, that Digimon Adventure is my favorite anime. And I feel that it is extremely underappreciated. And I hope that if you watch this video and you've made it all the way to the end, I hope I've at least convinced you to give it a shot, or maybe rewatch it if you know you've seen it and it just hasn't been that long, and kind of go and revisit it, because I truly believe that it is worth it. So with that, if you've made it all the way to the end, thank you all so much for watching. If you made it to the end, or and if you're a fan of Digimon, if you watched it already, who's like your favorite character? What's your favorite season? Who's your favorite Digimon? Let me know all that in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I very much appreciate it. Feel free to check out some of the other stuff on the channel. This is kind of like the first. I don't even know what I would even call this. It's like kind of. It's not the first. I got one where I talk about the Dragon Age series as well, but it's kind of like the first. Maybe we'll call it the special episode. I think that's because that's what I call the Dragon Age special. This is kind of like our Digimon special. So feel free to check out some of the other stuff I got on the channel. Check out my Dragon Age special. Maybe we'll put a card to it at the very end up here so you can check that out. Also, check out my podcast. I got other stuff on there too. I got the Saints Row special where I talk about Saints Row, and Mass Effect where I talk about Mass Effect as well. This is like the first one I've done for like TV though. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. As always, I very much appreciate it. And always, everybody, remember to stay watching, to stay playing, stay awesome, but most importantly, please stay safe out there. Until next time, everybody, I will speak to you all later. Goodbye.